Good morning again. My name is Dr. Porscha Jackson. I am the Business Development Manager with the City of Houston's Office of Business Opportunity. And we are glad to present this workshop to you for those who are just newly certified or those who have been certified and you just renewed it. And you just want a refresher on what to do with your certification and how to use it for your benefit. So the first thing we want to say is congratulations, you did it. We know that some of you have been, it may have taken you 2 months, some it may have taken you 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 months, but we are so glad that you stuck with the course and you were patient and you're diligent, and now that you have your certifications, you're ready to go and to start doing business with the city and other governmental agencies. So to give you an agenda of what we're going to do today, I'm going to talk to you about the Office of Business Opportunity, the benefits of your certification, run down some numbers for you so you can kind of get an idea of when we talk about certification, what does that look like with you as a business owner making money because of your certification. I'll talk to you about the major purchasing departments within the City of Houston, solicitations, and we'll go a little bit about contract awards and compliance and what that means on that back end. And then if we have time, which I'm going to try to fly through it so that we can have time to show you how to actually navigate to websites to do some research and understand more how to use your certification. Once I am done, then we will hear from Mr. Jerry Adams with the Strategic Procurement Division, and I'll explain what his division is. And then we'll also hear from the City of Houston's Housing and Community Development Department about their certification that they have available for you. And then we'll close with the Small Business Administration, we just say SBA, and they'll be here to talk to you about various opportunities they have for certified firms and the certifications that they offer as well. So when we talk about what's next after you get your certification, this is basically the circle. It's a cycle. You research, you do target marketing, you respond to solicitations, you win a contract, you perform well, you keep your information up to date, and the whole process starts right on over again. So we'll go through this step by step. But first, let me just introduce to you the Office of Business Opportunity, which you may not know all of what we do. Of course, you know that we do certifications because that is why you are here. But our office is an advocate for small businesses to ensure that you have the same opportunities as our larger businesses to do business, not just with the City of Houston, but within the business ecosystem in Houston. And to also make sure that we are helping those who are historically underutilized, not just businesses, but also disenfranchised individuals. So our key objectives are to educate you, to connect you to the right resources and the right folks so that you can grow your businesses and be successful. We have 4 major components, and that is our OBO Solution Center. And with our OBO Solution Center, if you have questions about permitting or want to be connected with a mentor or anything to get your business started, that is our OBO Solution Center. We're happy to serve you and happy to connect with you and provide information for you, as well as certifications department, our contract compliance department, which comes on the back end. So our contracts compliance division, anytime there is a contract at the City of Houston, it has a goal on it, and we'll talk about those goals. They are monitoring those contracts to ensure that the folks that everything is being followed to the T with those contracts. So if you're a subcontractor and you're working on a contract and something's not going right, you want to make sure you contact our contracts compliance department, who will come in and ensure things are working for you. And then the other component is our business development programming, and that is a division that I work with. And just a second, I see my camera is not working. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, and so we have this next chart shows you the OBO business support services. So this kind of breaks it down to what we do here when we talk about business development programming and helping you to start your business and grow your business. We have the Solution Center, which I explained does the permitting and licensing, and also gives you an e-bid, e-blast, which has contracting opportunities. So if you are not on our list, which comes out, our e-blast comes out every Monday, you want to make sure that you get on our list, because we send out contracts, bidding opportunities that are available with the City of Houston and our government partners every Monday. And so that's one avenue that you can have to make sure that you are constantly checking bidding opportunities. Two, we also provide one-on-one counseling on how to do business with the City of Houston, how to access resources, and kind of help you to get a game plan together and how you want to approach using your certification and help grow your business. We also have capacity building and training with our programs such as Build Up Houston and Accelerate Latinx, which help kind of move you from just being a subcontractor to now pursuing prime contracting opportunities. We have contractor programs such as Turner School Construction Management and our Procurement Basics for Contractors, which was a new program that we started in January, and we just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago with that. And we plan to offer that hopefully later on this year, or we'll offer it as an annual event, and that will start again next year. We have a business mentorship program, which is our interagency mentoring protege program. That is coming up. So let me just tell you quickly about that. If you are in business and you are looking to have a mentor and you are really set on doing government contracting, then you want to register for that program. You can go to our website, which is houstontx.gov/OBO. Under business development programs, you will see it listed there. That program, we partner with HISD, HCC, Houston First, Port Houston, Metro, and in our Houston Public Works Department. And once the program is completed, you are paired with a mentor to help you and to guide you through the process of doing business with the government. The applications for that program will close in a couple of weeks. So if you're interested, make sure that you apply for it today. We also have mentorship through SCORE, our partners, and then we also have online workshops such as this one and monthly webinars that we do with the SBA. And they're on various topics. So I'm going to quiz you, make sure that you awoke this morning. So you can just reply true or false verbally, or you can put it in the chat, and make sure also with the chat, you're more than welcome to use that throughout to ask any questions, and we'll definitely get to those towards the end. So true or false, there is a listing of the city's online directory of certified vendors. True or false? What do you think? True, false? Are you out there?
True. True.
Yes, true. Exactly. True. Number two, having a certification identifies your company with required products and/or services.
True.
True, yes. You can access, as a certified vendor, you have access to workshops, seminars, and other information just for certified firms.
True.
True.
Yes. All right. Bidding opportunities on goal-oriented city contracts. Your certification allows you to have access to that.
True. True.
True. Y'all are good. More than $700 million was awarded to certified firms in our fiscal year 2020.
True.
Yes, exactly. Your certification is accepted by other governmental agencies.
True.
True.
Yep, true. You must be certified to bid on city contracts.
False.
No.
False.
No.
That's right. You are so right. You do not have to be certified to bid on city contracts. You are guaranteed a contract when you become certified.
False.
False.
Right,
False.
that is false. You are not guaranteed no one is guaranteed a contract, whether they are certified or not. there are special projects set aside for certified firms.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
True.
It's true.
That is false. There are no set-asides for certified firms. You got to work for those projects. You got to go out there and network, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And the last one, all city contracts have goals.
False. True.
False.
False. Not all city contracts have goals on them, and we'll talk about that too. But y'all did pretty good. Y'all did pretty good. I'll say about 80%. So that is really good. So we will go through all of these throughout the presentation. And so before we really dig into it, I just want to make sure that we understand what a prime contractor is versus a subcontractor. So when we mention prime contractors, those are the companies that have a direct contract with the city of Houston. Those are the people who see the bidding opportunities and they submit a bid and they win the contract. The prime contractor is indirectly the contract with the city of Houston, and they decide who they want to use as subcontractors. And they must list those subcontractors on the bid. So when they see a bidding opportunity and it has goals on it, they have to select their subcontractors and submit those persons' names when they submit the bid. So when they get the contract, the city already knows who they're going to use as a subcontractor. Your subcontractors are the people who have to network to be listed on the particular contract. So subcontractors need to be networking with prime contractors to be listed on the bid. Subcontractors do not bid to the city of Houston because subcontractors are hired by the prime contractor. So are we clear on a prime contractor versus a subcontractor? Anybody have any questions on that before we move forward? No? Okay. If you think of something later, always put in the chat and we'll get to it and get it answered for you. So next is when we talk about goals on contracts. This is the basic standard of goals. So we have construction, 34%, and that's going to be for your certified firms that are M, W, and SBE. When we say M, we mean minority business, women, WBE, women, SBE, small, right? Goods and services have a standard of 11%, professional services standard of 24%, and persons with disabilities standard of 1%. These can fluctuate based on the need of that contract and what it's for, but across the board, generally speaking, these are the goals in the contract. So when we say the contract has a goal, for instance, if there is $1 million contract and it has a 34% goal, that means whoever is a prime contractor has to subcontract out 34%. And so they subcontract that 34% has to be to city certified firms in those areas of it. And it'll say whether it's MWSBE or you might see it all together, MWSBE. And that's where you, as a small business owner who's never worked on a city contract before or a government contract, you have the opportunity to come in as a subcontractor, gain that experience, and then grow your business so you are able to become the prime contractor, meaning you have the capacity and the capability to handle a contract all by yourself. And of course, if it has a goal on it, then you'll have to subcontract that work out. And so the paragraph on here, good faith efforts, this just is a testament that a prime contractor, when there is a goal on the contract, they must show good faith that they have searched for certified firms to fulfill the goals on that contract. And any questions on that? Okay. And so the advantages of your certification is that not only as being city certified.
I have a question, ma'am.
Go ahead.
There is nothing written about the DBE. So what is PTV is a personal disadvantage, but what are disadvantage business entrepreneur?
So for the DBE, that's a disadvantaged business enterprise. That is an economic-based certification. And so that is normally used in federal contracting. So looking at the slide that I have before you, Texas Department of Transportation is one of the main folks who ask for a DBE if you're going to do work with them. So that's what's important when you're looking for bidding opportunities. And it will say when it has goals on it, which type of certification they're looking for. So when you see DBE, know that that's federal contracting, normally federal dollars that are associated with that contract. So that's where the DBE would come into play. Your MBE, and your WBE and SBE are normally local contracts. And out of all of these that you see listed, some of them only accept certain ones. So I can tell you that Metro typically only accepts SBE. The Fort Bend ISD right here, they look for SBE certification. So that's why it's important that if you are certified, to have multiple certifications, that broadens the type of work that you can do, because some contracts may look great and you like, oh, I can do or subcontract on this, or I might be able to be the prime contractor on this. But if it has MBE and you're not MBE certified, then you missed out on that opportunity. So if you qualify for the certifications, that's why it's important that you have multiple ones so that you can take advantage of various different opportunities with different organizations, because some of them center on different parts of the certification. Did that answer your question?
I got. Thank you. I got it.
And so how do we sign up for the mentor program? I heard you said that it's closing soon. I don't know what that application is.
Right. You will go to HoustonTX.gov/OBO. Under Business Development Programs, you'll see the IMPP program, and you will go to that page, and then you can register there. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's our map of 2 city contracts. Our first step now is to research, know your competitors, and know the dollars awarded for your certification. So this, all the information, the charts I'm going to show are from fiscal year 2020. Which runs from July 19 to June 30th of 2020. And you can see here the different industries that are certified, and the number, we had over 4,000 firms certified. You can see how many were used that were out of the number that was certified, the percentage, and the amount that was given, and the average per vendor. So when you look at this, this helps you to do your research. This helps you to do your research in kind of understanding your competition and what's out there and what opportunities are available in who you're up against, and also from a monetary standpoint. And you can see there that last year, over $740 million was awarded to certified firms. And then here, this chart that you see is, it breaks it down. The first one lets you know how much for prime contractors and subcontractors. Also, how it breaks it down from those who were certified and those who were not certified, and it tells you the dollar amount. Then the second one lets you know by ethnicity, and it's in those 3 contract types of construction, professional services, and goods and services. So you should be knowing where you kind of fall into play, if you're construction, if you're professional services, or if you're goods and services. And you can kind of see here the amount that's awarded to those folks who are certified there. And then the last chart shows award by ethnicity and the percentages. And so the step 1 is to really make sure that that you are a certified vendor. If you completed your certification, you should already be a city certified vendor. If somehow that was missed, then make sure you go to this website, purchasing.houstontx.gov. This is where you have your vendor number. This is also where, if you have any updates to your vendor profile, you want to make sure you make those updates at this website. under your profile. And what I mean by updates, if there is, just say you do uniforms and you add another component to, maybe you do embroidery now and you did screen printing before, you need to make sure that you go back in and make sure that your NIGP codes reflect what you're doing, because you will get messages and in emails for opportunities that are available based on the NIGP codes that you have in that system. So our next step to our cycle of what's next after your certification is, where else will your certification be accepted, and know which departments are more than likely to utilize your services. Because you want to be able to build relationships. If you know that they are doing a program, then you know you need to be on their email list and building relationships and understanding everything about their needs and anticipating their needs, so that you can be a better service to them and help you to develop your business to move forward and try to do business with that particular department. So this chart lists the departments that have purchased in the fiscal year, and it'll let you know how many non-certified firms they used, how many certified firms they used, and the amount that was awarded to those firms. And so what's important to look at is, this lets you know the major buying departments of the city. So you can see here, fleet management, over 466, and if you add the 33, so look over here in this chart, about 500 firms they used. So that's a major buying department. General services, right here, health department, housing and community development, the airport system, the fire department, Houston Public Works is leading the bunch with almost 3,000 firms that they use, and of course our strategic purchasing division right here. So this is really good for you to kind of understand the major buying departments and what services you want to research. What are they buying, so that you can target them and see how you can utilize your services, and to be on the lookout for their information and their opportunities that they have available. So General Services Department is one of our major buying departments. And so if you're in construction, if you are into in architectural engineering, natural gas, electricity, heat, chilled water, any type of utilities. Also, if you're into, you do janitorial services, anything maintenance of buildings and property, that's going to be with our General Services Department. So if that's a service that you provide, or any goods that you provide that they take care of, that's one department you want to target and begin to look at what are their buying habits, so that you can be on the lookout when there's opportunities, when it's time for them to purchase. Then we have our Houston Public Works Department. And so this is our largest department. And remember that chart I showed you, they've used over close to 3,000 firms for that they purchased from and needed their goods and services. And so Houston Public Works does the city's water, sewer, and drainage, design, construction, repair, maintenance of streets, bridges, structures, capital projects, a whole lot of things, real property as well. General Services also buys and maintains property too. So this is a major buying department. So if you have any goods or services that will pertain to Houston Public Works, you want to make sure that you are checking their website and looking for their opportunities. Another major department is our Houston Airport System. And of course, that's aviation facilities, expansion of airports, but that's also concession contracts. So when we say concession contracts, those are the folks that you see in the airport, the restaurants, anybody who has a kiosk, the retail stores in there. Those are all concessions for the airport. And we have a specific certification for that, the Airport Concessions DBE. And so if you provide any of those services, or you have a company or a business that you want to have in the airports, Bush, Hobby, that's a department that you want to target and know what opportunities that they have available. And then we have our strategic procurement division, which is the main buying department for the city of Houston. So when I showed you that chart of the different departments, there were some that maybe didn't purchase that much. And so what SPD will do a lot of times is if there's a need for paper, right? Every department is going to use paper. They may put out one bid that is for paper for all different departments and not just one department. So that's when we talk about they're the main purchasing department for the city of Houston. Outside of the three major departments that we just described, then you have SPD who will take care of the rest and kind of be the centralized buyer for the city. And so here, when you're looking for opportunities, whether you are going to be a subcontractor or a prime contractor, you want to make sure that you're looking for opportunities. And now as a subcontractor, you want to also keep in mind that even though you may not be able to bid on the total contract, if there's a contract out there or a bidding opportunity out there, and you think that you can do a portion of that work, you still want to pursue that as if you're going for the prime contractor, because you want to meet those primes so that you can be added on that bid so that if they win the contract, you have the opportunity to work on that particular contract. So when you're looking for opportunities on Fridays, you want to look at the Houston Business Journal. Sundays, the Houston Chronicle. Weekly, the Municipal Access Channel has information. On Mondays is our e-blast that I talked about earlier that you want to check. Also, make sure you go to purchasing.houstontx.gov, the same website where you went to register as a city vendor. It will have formal bids and RFPs listed there. You also want to make sure you are attending the pre-bid and pre-proposal conferences. So that's, again, when I talk about when you're looking for bids and looking for those bidding opportunities, and you may say, hey, I may not be able to have the capacity to do this entire contract, but I could do a portion of it. It's always going to have a pre-bid or pre-proposal conference. And from that, you want to attend that pre-bid proposal conference because the primes are going to be there. And that's an opportunity to network with the primes, introduce yourselves, and let them know who you are so that you can be listed on the bid that they submit for it. So it's really about getting your name out there, letting people know what you're able to do, having your capability statement always on hand to share that information. Now, the pre-bid and pre-proposal conferences are done virtually now, but it's still the same procedure. It's your way to network with those folks and let them know what you can do. Also, to contact city departments that request to be on the RFP list. And also make sure, again, that you are maintaining your vendor profile, because sometimes there are smaller jobs that are available and you may be able to be the prime contractor on a smaller job. And you won't know about that if your NIGP codes are not up to date, because they will send you information based on those codes when there's opportunities. And then if you're an A&E, you want to make sure that you fill out this form here so that you can get on their list. So then the next step is to respond to solicitations, and we'll just go over the different types of them. You have the P cards, purchasing cards, which are in general, which are just credit cards, really. Credit cards that certain departments have where they don't have to they can just go out and purchase based on their credit limit. And that's another opportunity for smaller businesses, because your larger businesses may not look for the smaller amounts of money. And so as a smaller business, you have the opportunity to work with different departments and kind of just get your feel in and get some experience in working in government contracting. There's also informal bids, formal bids, and RFPs, which means requests for proposals, and subcontracting opportunities, which we have discussed. So here you have your P cards. The maximum single transaction is normally $3,000, and the monthly maximum shall not exceed $10,000. This can change because certain departments have different limits, but we do encourage, if a department is going to use a credit card to purchase, that they do utilize are certified firms. And so there's an opportunity there for you to make sure that you have a relationship with them and they know about you. So they have a service. So if they are purchasing shirts for their department and they know about you, then they can say, okay, well, here's a certified firm that contacted us and we need to order shirts for our department, and it only comes to, you know, $600 or whatever. But that's just an opportunity for you to gain some business and get that underneath your belt and working with the government, with the city. And yes, the way to access that opportunity is to make sure that you are marketing to the individual departments and letting them know that you're there. Then there are informal bids, which are purchases under the bid limit of $50,000, and those come in the form of sealed bid, price quotations, and they are non-competitive purchases. So with sealed bid, if the purchase amount is near $50,000, for the price quotation, the city must contact at least 2 hub. When we say hub, historically underutilized firms on a rotating basis to get quotes from them for the informal bid. And then for non-competitive purchase, which is any purchases that are priced less than $3,000, they can just decide whoever they want to use and go from there. They don't have to get a quotation on that. Again, how to access that opportunity is to make sure that you are in contact and the individual departments know about your goods and services. For formal bids, that's an invitation to bid over $50,000. Vendors, you must submit the bid based on the terms and specifications that is listed there. Most are awarded on the basis of lowest price, responsive, and responsible bid. And what that really means is you just can't come in and have any lowest price and think that you will win the contract just because you have the lowest price. You have to show that you are able and you have the capacity to fulfill what's in that bidding opportunity. And it's awarded on the lowest price and the responsibility. And what they're going to look at too is the experience that you have in that area of whatever that scope of work is. And our subcontracting opportunities for formal bids are over those that are over 100,000. So to access these opportunities, you want to make sure that you are looking for the bid advertisements that we talked about earlier. You are again attending those pre-bid conferences and you are marketing your company. And make sure that you are also networking with these prime contractors so that they know about you. So whenever there's an opportunity, even beyond the city, working with the city, that they know, if I know I need somebody for concrete, I can call Concrete Plus, or, you know, if you do concrete, and they can count on you. And that's another way for you to get experience, so that you can get experience and grow your business so that you can move from subcontracting to prime contracting. The next is a request for proposals. This is where they look for vendors who have expertise, experience, and approach to meet department needs. They base it on a scoring matrix, and that's used by the evaluation team to score the vendor and the responses based on the criteria that they have for it. Again, how do you submit for a request for proposal? Check those bids advertisements, attend the pre-bid conferences, and make sure that you are marketing your company. Subcontracting opportunities are all what we've been talking throughout. And again, prime contractors solicit the vendors. They select who are going to be the subcontractors. So make sure that as a subcontractor, for those opportunities, that you have your certifications listed on your website. So when people go to the directory and they're looking for someone who provides cleaning services, and they're looking for somebody who's certified, they can automatically see that when they go to your website. We get a lot of people who go to our directory, which is public, and they are looking for certified firms. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's not just to work with the city, it's to work on different projects that they have. We've had people from other states go to and utilize our directory. So just make sure that you always keep your information up to date and you keep your certifications on your website, because you never know who's looking to do business with certified firms, and that you have information about what contracts or what you can perform. So when folks are trying to decide between subcontractors, you can make sure that you are sticking out. And again, with subcontracting, you're doing the same thing. You're looking at bid advertisements, seeing which jobs that you may not be able to, if you can't do it as a prime, what parts or what services could you provide so that you can be a subcontractor, and make sure you attend those pre-bids to network with the prime contractors as well. So as a prime contractor, you have to submit your bid or proposal. You want to make sure that you are reading everything, make certain that your goods or services meet the specifications, sign your bid, and submit it on time. If it says that it's due at 2 p.m., submitting it at 2:01 will disqualify you because you are late. And if you are able to bid and you go after a bid and you don't get it, don't give up. It's very competitive. But what I always encourage people to do is you can contact the city secretary's office and ask for the successful bidder submission. Ask for what they did and look at how they submitted their bid so that you can see what challenges that you may have or what some things you can correct for the next time when the bid comes up or another opportunity comes. So it's always good to look at a successful bid, and that way that'll give you a better understanding of how you need to submit a bid. And then the next step is, once a contract is awarded, the city secretary receives it, opens it, and reads all formal bid responses. The agent will determine if you are responsible and the prices are reasonable. And if you are applied for a Hire Houston First, this is where your Hire Houston First comes into play, because if it's up between you or someone else, just say someone else from Beaumont, right? They are going to look at, and everything is pretty much even except for a certain percentage. They could be a little bit higher than you, or a little bit lower cost than you, but that's where your Hire Houston First will come into play. Is because you're a local business, and they will give you preference over somebody who's in Beaumont. And then also, if maybe you're not against somebody in Beaumont, but you are against somebody in California because you're in the state of Texas, you'll get that preference. And so that's where that Hire Houston First comes into play. So if you have not applied for Hire Houston First, make sure you apply for that, because that will give you an advantage against folks who are bidding for the same contract as you who are outside of our local area. Then the next step is the contract compliance, and that is another division that I talked about earlier that we have here at OBO. And so what they are doing is making sure that all city contracts with the goal are in compliance. They're looking at prevailing wages, equal opportunity compliance, and they also conduct on-site site visits and conduct project interviews to make sure that everything in that contract of how it was outlined is happening, that folks are being paid correctly and everything is being recorded, and that the certified firm, the subcontractors are actually being used, and not that they listed you as being a subcontractor, but they never contacted you for any work. If that happens to you, make sure you contact the contract compliance officer to let them know that. If you don't know who the contract compliance officer is when you're on in a subcontracting role on a contract, you can always reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you get in contact with that person. Then there is our pay or play program that our contract compliance office monitors, and basically that's either you pay health insurance or you play. And what that means is you provide a minimal level of health care benefits to your employees, and our office monitors that. And then lastly, after our cycle, after you've researched it, after you have done your target marketing, you responded to solicitations, you won the contract or you participated on the contract and you performed great, then again, you want to make sure that all of your information is up to date on that website, the purchasing.houstontx.gov, so that you can continue to get more opportunities and get notifications of opportunities. So here are some important websites to know: the houstontx.gov/OBO. So that is my office here. Again, any programs, any resources, you want to be connected to mentors, you want to go to this website, and we can definitely do that for you, help you, and connect you, and also to apply for any of our programs. You can find that all listed here. The Strategic Purchasing Division, which is a division that purchases mainly for the city. If you are interested and think that your services apply to Houston Public Works, you want to make sure you go to their website to see the listings that they have. General Services Department, remember that's the folks who build and maintain the various city buildings and properties and utilities is there. And then the Houston Airport System, make sure you have their contact information or go to their website to see the opportunities that they have listed. So that wraps up the basis of doing business with the city of Houston as far as the OBO side is concerned. Let me unshare my screen and let's see here. Are there any questions that anybody has?
I do.
Yes, go ahead.
My name is Audrey. I was wondering if you all have any insurance companies that you would recommend for us to go through to even get our companies insured.
So to get your companies insured, you can always go to our directory and look. Now for insurance, what I want to make sure clear that we do is for the city of Houston, we want to make sure that we remain a level of impartiality so that we're not promoting one company over the other. And so I would just say do your research. Also ask other businesses what insurance companies that they use and what their experience is, and make your decision from reaching out to those folks.
I have, but I only have just one at this moment. I just thought maybe you guys had maybe a list. That's all.
No, we don't have a list of insurance companies that we recommend, but I can say there are some insurance companies that are certified firms, and you can go to the certified firm directory and see those that are listed there, and make your decision after visiting their website and talking to some folks which ones will be best for you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is Mohsin from USA MTech. I'm doing the construction work. So my concern is, as I took some contract from a prime contractor and working as a sub for the prime contractor. Sometimes I took some work and it's more than my capacity. So can I hire another subcontractor for me? As I'm a subcontractor, and can I sublet and can hire another subcontractor to help me?
Yes. You can do that. Just make sure that when you hire a subcontractor for you as a subcontractor, that you are communicating that with the prime contractor to make sure that you are still under the scope of what you're supposed to be doing, so that it's not looking like a pass-through. But yes, you can definitely do that, because there are some large contracts that we have at the city, and there's several tiers that the subcontractors have subcontractors, and those subcontractors have subcontractors. So definitely that is something that you can do.
So for the payroll issue, how I will manage the payroll? Can the 1099 will be accepted for the prime contractor?
You would have to, when you get into those specifics, I can't answer it because I don't know exactly what your setup is. You understand? And so you can send me an email and offline. We can look at exactly what you are contracted for and who you're subcontracting out to and what work that is as it applies to your specific contract. Can you do it generally? Yes, but you also want to make sure that you're in compliance for what you are supposed to do. So I can't give you a general answer for your specific question because we want to make sure that you're not in violation of what you were supposed to do.
I got you. And I will send you an email and explain you the whole scenario. What is that? Then you might be able to give the clear answer.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Do we have Jerry Adams on the line? I want to make sure we stick to the time. I see we have some questions. I'll get you in just a second. I want to make sure that if Jerry is here.
I am Porscha, but go ahead. This is a good conversation.
Okay, great. And Jerry, if there's some questions that they're asking and you have the answer, please jump in.
No, I've been listening for the last half hour, and to be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot left. So no, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so the next question, I see your hand up, but it doesn't have a name, but go ahead and ask it.
It might be me. Hi, my name is Marlena. I'm a new certified business, obviously, and I was just wondering, so we're a dance studio. I was wondering if we are certified now through the city of Houston, HISD, because they're telling me I need to get a vendor number, but you already put that in the slide. So are we, as a certified business now, an approved vendor? Maybe that's my question.
So you mentioned HISD. Are you asking, are you a certified firm with HISD or with the city of Houston?
Well, we're trying to go into the school and teach dance. So, but they're telling me I need to get a vendor number. Is that a separate?
Yeah, so HISD is separate from the city of Houston. It's a separate entity. So if HISD is saying you need a vendor number, they're saying you need a vendor number from HISD. So you'll need to go to their website and just, they have like a vendor packet and you'll complete that vendor registration so that you're able to do business with HISD.
Okay, so it's a separate entity. So this does help, but it's not a guarantee that.
Right, HISD uses our certification, but you have to register to be a vendor with HISD to do business with them specifically.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Yes, Thomas?
Yes, I actually have two questions. One is I was certified, but my 3 years has passed, so I need to update that. But for one, I'm not sure what kind of information I need. So I need to see if I can talk to somebody and get it specifically what I need to turn in. But also, in the meantime, I've converted from an LP LLC to incorporated. I'm a S Corp now. And they transferred basically the name and all and just converted the entities. But I did have to get another EIN number. So that's going to be different. So is there somebody that I could talk with and just see what I need to do as far as getting all that information in?
Yes, you will speak with Vanessa Aplon.
Okay.
And you can send her an email. You know what, Thomas, let me look to see who actually processed your original certification application. Okay. And then I can put you in touch with that person so that they're familiar with that and they can help you specifically.
Okay.
So let me just write that down real quick. And what's the name of the company that's in the system as being certified?
Hewitt Electric Company, and it may be under LP or LLC.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I will have them reach out to you with the specific information of what you need to do. I'll send you an email too, so you'll have their contact information. But really, all of it will just really require you going into your vendor profile, your certification vendor profile, and you'll just click renewal, and then it'll bring up everything that you need to do to renew. It'll also allow you to change the status from you being an LLC to an S Corp. Also in there, you'll have to apply for an expansion update. But I'll have somebody reach out to you to make sure that that they kind of guide you with everything specific according to what you need.
Very good. Yeah, I went to the website and I was trying to pull up my information, but I wasn't able to find it. So I'm sure they could help me find
Yeah.
my information, get it all set up. So very good.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, sometimes when you go in, you know, it can be overwhelming too. So it's good to have somebody to walk you all the way through. So yeah, we'll take care of that for you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, please. Dr. Jackson, I would like to have a mentor. How can I get one?
Send me an email and just tell me you want a mentor, and send me an email. Let me know what you need the mentor for, and just a couple, maybe 2 sentences about your business, and we'll get you paired with a mentor.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
If there is a requirement on a bid for a prime contractor, then they subcontract out some of their services to subcontractors. Do those subcontractors also have to be certified?
If it has a goal on it, they have to. So for instance, if it's a construction contract, is a 34% goal, and that 34% on that contract says that it has to be to a MWSBE firm, 34% of what they subcontract has to be to that city certified subcontractors. But if they wanted to subcontract out 50% of the work, they could. But 34%, whatever is on that contract, as far as their goal percentage, they have to do it for a city certified firm. But they could essentially subcontract out more to uncertified firms, non-certified firms. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Jerry Adams. He is our Chief Procurement Officer here at the City of Houston for the Strategic Procurement Division, which we talked about earlier, the main purchasing department for the City of Houston. Jerry, go ahead.
I say, Porscha, you've already covered almost everything. Fortunately, I had a meeting that finished up early this morning, so I logged on just to hear what's going on. And what a presentation so far. The only thing I can maybe touch on is the question that came up a little earlier about a vendor number. Being certified is your first step and an excellent step forward for you all. But you still need to register as a City of Houston vendor. That is the vendor number. That puts you in to the vendor pool. And based on your NIGP code, I assume you all know what the NIGP code is. Your core competency based on the National Institute of Procurement Management. You identify your core competency, and that basically defines the information, the emails, the bid opportunities that your organization will receive from the city. Once you're a registered City of Houston vendor, whenever we publish a solicitation, you will automatically be notified of that. We also advertise in the Houston Business Journal. All of our solicitations, formal solicitations, go into the Houston Business Journal as well as on our eBid website. If you look on our website, and I encourage you to browse that sometime, you'll also see an FY21 procurement plan. This is a forecast of all formal procurements that are planned events over the next 6 to 12 months. This forecasted plan will give you insight into what business opportunities might be coming forward. Maintenance of your vendor profile, your email, your phones, your NIGP codes. That is your responsibility to keep this information updated. That's how we communicate with you. And I would encourage you, don't have the email address unless you're a one-man show, one-person show. Don't have that email address be your email or a email of someone in your firm. If that person leaves, all these announcements are going to be going to that email address that you might turn off once that person leaves your organization. So be careful how you identify and list your organization for email contacts. It's an exciting time for the city right now. We are in a lot of recovery mode after the winter storm. We have a lot of need for good vendors to come forward and help us out. Most of those opportunities will be through formal procurements, which you'll be notified as soon as you are registered. I think Porscha touched on the pre-bid conferences. That's a very important part of the solicitation program, especially for new vendors, new businesses joining the city. This is where you get the opportunity to come in and ask questions, get definition clarity about the solicitation, about what's going to be entailed in that particular purchase. It also gives you a fantastic opportunity to network. You can see who else is on the or attending the solicitation. If you want to come in as a sub, some of the primes will be attending. You can get names and contact information. We document everybody who attends these meetings, and we can share that with you. These are all, I know working virtually is difficult. Doing the face-to-face where you had a chance to press palms with someone and get to meet them and network with them at the event was the ideal. Unfortunately, it has made it more difficult for you all now. This virtual environment, which I am not a fan of, it just happens to be the way we need to do business now. But overall, again, great time to be working with the city. A lot of good projects, a lot of new business emerging. I will tell you, our mayor has taken a very hard stand on sourcing locally to help the local economy. So we are always looking for good local vendors. Other than that, Porscha, I believe you covered just about everything. Is any questions about the city working with the city and doing business? And Thomas, your arm's got to be tired. You've had your hand up through the whole thing.
Really, folks, think about if you have any questions. Jerry is the Chief Procurement Officer for the City of Houston. The Strategic Procurement Division handles a lot, the majority of the purchasing for the city. This is your opportunity if you have any questions about what may be coming down the pipeline, or what should you know as a business owner who wants to do business with the city. This is your time to ask that question. Whatever it is, don't be limited. Jay, I see your hand is up. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? This is for Jerry. I have a question in regards to transportation for the city. I'm a trucking company here, and I just wanted to know how I go about looking for that information.
What kind of transportation or trucking do you do? Anything specialized in chemical hauling certifications? Are we talking box truck?
I have box trucks, flatbeds, dry vans. I'm a national company as well.
We don't do, we're not in the transportation business.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do a lot of that. We do have the need for, if you have anything in tanker licenses or specialized chemical, you're going to need certifications for chemical hauling. We do a lot with our water treatment plants for hauling in liquid chemicals. We also have through our fleet department, we haul in petroleum products to our city facilities. So it's going to be more specialized tanker type stuff. We do on occasion have the need to get box truck type operations, but that is not, we don't have a warehousing operation. We don't have a whole lot to do with anything in the trucking or transportation industry.
So it's more specific to just tanking that you guys do?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
So as a trucking company, there's a, I guess there's a need for my services. It's just that I would just have to change or get the type of trucks that you guys need.
Yes, in fact, it's a very difficult market for us. We don't have a lot of companies who have the licenses, the appropriate classifications to haul these chemicals. So that's actually a very good spot if you want to make that investment.
Okay, and so I just need to figure out how to go about doing that. That's not a big issue. As far as I just need to be pointed in the right direction on to get the certifications.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tawana Roberts. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Porscha. Okay, great. I want to come in right after this gentleman because I'm a licensed certified freight broker. And that was a question that I was going to ask in regards to the transportation and logistics industry. So you said that you guys do have a need for tankers, but you have a hard time finding that. So my question would be if you had, if I have access to clients that could move those particular type of loads, is that something that I could utilize my certification with the city of Houston with as well?
As long as you can provide the service, whether we go directly to a trucking company or via a broker, that would certainly qualify. You would just have to provide evidence that you have contracts with these trucking companies and have access to the equipment.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions for Jerry? It's a good time to ask.
Yes, Jerry. This is Jay one more time. As far as the certifications, are you talking about the certification through the city or pertaining to the certification of the company for the trucks?
You'd have to have the DOT certifications.
As far as tanker endorsements?
Yes, tanker endorsements and for the chemical endorsements.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, as long as you've got those, you don't have to certify with the city. You have to get that certification from DOT.
Okay, so we've already got that certification. At that point, it's just reaching out to your department?
Well, if you are registered and you put down your registration based on the NIGP code, we have contracts in place currently, but these do come up for renewal.
Okay.
It would be at a renewal point that we would be reaching out to you. Let me make this part perfectly clear, and I think Porscha has already mentioned this. The city of Houston does everything on a level playing field. Are you picking up the phone and calling me and saying, hey, I've got trucks available next week, or I can be there with the product next Tuesday? That really isn't how we do business. In order to be compliant with state bid laws, we have to have a level playing field. Everything we do has to be open and transparent. It has to be anything over $3,000 has to be bid. Anything over $50,000 has to be advertised through a formal solicitation. That makes sure that everything is done fair, open, and equitably across all of the vendors, and that in full transparency. So, unfortunately, you have to wait for a contract renewal to come up, or we have to have a early termination of a contract. But we will advertise everything that we have coming up And that's why it's so important for you to have your vendor registration current, your contacts current, your information current, so that when these opportunities do come up, that you are on that distribution.
Okay, yes, that's all current. Everything that actually Porscha was saying and you were saying earlier, the website, everything is actually current with you guys.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you bet.
Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? All right, Jerry, I guess you answered them all. Anything else you want to share that you think they should know or be cognizant of?
And great. Thank you, Jackson. Great presentation. We have all the I have all the questions.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And your question? Well, you're not done yet. Porscha, you still have housing, right?
Yeah, I still have housing. Did he say he had a question or he didn't have any questions? I didn't. Okay, maybe he said he didn't have any questions. But yeah, so we still have housing that's going to talk about opportunities with them and their certification. And we also have SBA who will round us out with opportunities that they have available. So again, Jerry, thank you for coming on and sharing your knowledge with everybody and answering their questions. And then we'll go ahead and move forward. If there's not any other questions for Jerry, or Jerry, if you don't have anything else to add, we'll go ahead and move forward with housing.
No, we're good. Thank you for including us. Looking forward to working with some of you in the future. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerry, so much. So I am going to bring up our next presenter, Ms. Karen Franklin, who is with the city's Housing and Community Development Department. Karen?
Hi, good.
You have the floor.
Well, thank you, Dr. Jackson. It's always a joy to join you guys with I'm Certified, What's Next, and to be able to just be in the lineup for this team. It's always our pleasure on behalf of the Housing and Community Development Department and our director, Tom McCaslin. I too want to pause and give a shout out to my colleague and team member, Tisha Coleman. Thank you for joining us. Today, she is a new member in our community involvement section within contract compliance. So I will go ahead and pull up our presentation. There you are. Hey, Tisha. And this is a great time for each of you that have obtained your certification. First, allow me to say congratulations on completing and or renewing your certification. This is truly an important season for, you know what? This is an important season. I need to unshare because I didn't select, hold on. I need to make sure it gives me the option to say, It needs to be able to give me the option to say the audio, to have the audio come on, and it's not displaying the audio option. So I'm going to try again here. Bear with me. I do apologize, but we want to make sure we give you all the right information and that you're able to give control. Here we go. Okay. include computer sound. There we go. Thank you so much for you all's patience with that. Here we go, PowerPoint. Oh, unfortunately, the PowerPoint dropped. No wonder I couldn't see it. Okay, here we go. I am coming with you. Thank you so much for your patience. If I can just get a confirmation if you're able to see my screen.
No, not yet.
See you.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to go back. Share screen. Include sound. Here's PowerPoint. Okay, how about now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there you go. A little delayed, but truly not denied. So thank you again. So as we go ahead and get started here, I am here presenting on behalf of another certification option that we would love for you all to consider and definitely would be of value for you to take a look. The screen is in front of you now, the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start this off with a quick video of who we are.
A lot of people are wondering, what exactly is the job of the Housing and Community Development Department? As one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, Houston is adding people and opportunities every day, but we need to make sure that we're growing together. Our department works to create housing opportunities that people can afford in the communities that matter to them. For a lot of our downtown workforce, we're working on keeping affordability close by, with multifamily developments like the new Hardy Yards apartment homes. For communities that have spent generations here, we're stopping families from having to leave because of rising housing prices. We're building new homes in Houston's complete communities and repairing homes that have been damaged by wear and weather. We want our residents to have a safe place to live and gather their families. But community isn't just about the roof over your head. We also sponsor hospital branches, community centers, libraries, and more. We support the great work of organizations like Avenue CDC and Coalition for the Homeless, which are giving our residents the services that will improve their lives. We envision a Houston where everyone has a safe, affordable home in a community where they can thrive. For more information, please call us at 832-394-6200 or chat with us on your favorite online platform.
So that video gave you a glimpse of who we are and our vision that's focused on building a more equitable city. As you learned about so far this morning about government funding and, in our case, programs that offers affordable and safe homes in Houston. So we want to talk to you today about the opportunity in obtaining a federal certification, and it's called Section 3. In the Section 3 program, as the slide reflects, it's a program that's implemented by HUD to ensure to the greatest extent feasible that employment, training, and economic opportunities are generated by HUD assistance, financial assistance, that will be directed to low and very low income persons and business concerns that provide opportunities for anyone who comes and obtains this certification. Now, mind you, this is a federal regulations, and it does show the Code of Federal Regulations 24, Part 135. Within the process, we have two certifications. It's one for residents. Individuals are able to become certified as an individual, but at the same time, each of you can add this certification. as a business concern. And again, this is a federal certification that we're promoting that is offered from our department. Now, the federal certification, whether you obtain it for residence or business, it takes 7 to 14 business days. So it's quick, simple, and a very short time to get it completed. And it's all done either through email, and for the business, it's done via our online application, which we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But why are you wanting to obtain this Section 3 certification? You did get it from the video. You're able to see there's various programs that we do offer. And through the program, it enhances for Section 3 the utilization of small businesses that have this particular certification. Not only that, it also forges, as we heard from today, opportunities for you to foster more relationships and teaming within projects that are within our pipeline. It even at the same time, it extends engagement and informs you of opportunities that are in the pipeline that have been approved by City Council and equally that are underway. This is a really good glance at some of our funded programs and our project spend and forecast. Mind you, this in front of you, you have a glimpse at our single family new home development, multifamily. Now we also have, as many of you know, our disaster funds, but this gives you a glance of the different funding amounts that are forecasted for our current year fiscal. And our fiscal for the city, and this is for all of us, is from July 1 through June the 30th. But when we talk about, say, for example, the multifamily, that's $40,494,205. And then the other single family is reflected as such. We also have our public services, and public and private facilities is another program area. But we wanted to give you a glimpse at what some of our programs look like. The two that I'll be showing to you this morning are for our multifamily projects. This particular one is Gala at McGregor. So this is a multifamily unit, and as it's defined, it gives you an idea of the different layered funding. One varies from the City of Houston and other private funding that's listed. And as you see, the amount of this example, this particular total project is $25 million. And when you look at multifamily projects and talking about each of you that are certified and the different scopes of services that you provide, this particular multifamily unit, they are looking for, or they will be looking for services to complete this complete building from end to end. So you're looking at hard costs and equally soft costs. I'm sorry, it appears my screen is frozen. Let's see if I can just exit. Okay, let's see if we can advance to that real quick. Okay, there you go. And here's another example, the Avenue 34. This too is another multifamily project that has different levels of funding, different entities for funding. And this particular multifamily project is roughly 18 million. But this gives you some examples of the various projects that we offer. So let's get into the Section 3 program and how each of you can take time and become certified and what that process involves. So as mentioned, we talked about there's the individual certification for residents, and then we'll talk about the business. But as an example, as the Section 3 residential certification is targeted towards individuals, with low income that do not exceed the HUD income limits, which is our source for identifying the eligibility for both individuals as well as residents. But it also speaks to individuals that do reside within the public housing and individuals that do seek public assistance. For the certification, this is a glimpse at the HUD certification income limits that comes out annually, typically in the month of May, sometimes in June, but it does give you an idea. For example, if you take a look at a household of 4 and going up to the 80% limits, income limits, then that individual or that household, if the household is earning $59,600 for that household of 4, then that individual, whether it be an individual or business, would then be eligible to become Section 3 certified as a resident. The resident certification is very seamless. We just require 2 identifications, one proof of occupancy, and then proof of Texas identification. We have a checklist that we provided that you'll have a copy. We'll provide you a copy of our presentation so that you can pull up the checklist. And once the application and your supportive documents are provided, then it's just emailed to the email that's listed before you, the HCD Section 3 at houstontx.gov. The residential certification, as mentioned, you just submit the application along with the proof of identification that's required. Within that 14 days or less, then your certification is completed, and the certification too is good for a 3-year period. Now, in order for us staying engaged with our community outreach, it gives us the opportunity to reach out to individuals such as yourself, as well as others, in promoting these federal opportunities and the projects that we do drive within our area. And some of the projects that we talked about, I just want to highlight them. Again, they're affordable housing, supportive service, public improvements, and infrastructure, including economic development. So we have a quick quiz here. So it asks, for Section 3 requires that recipients retain the federal funding. Which particular ones apply? Job training, employment, contracting opportunities, or all of the above? You can put your answer in the chat. And I'm sorry, since I can't see the screen. So for all of those that said D, you are correct. The benefit of the Section 3 recipients, it does extend training opportunities, employment, as well as contracting. So it is a great asset and certification to add to your tool belt. So let's talk about business certification. And we know this is something that we welcome each of you and encourage each of you to obtain. Within the Section 3 business concern, the 3 certifications, 3 qualifications are either, which it's one that you're very familiar with, 51% of the ownership falls within the HUD income limits as a Section 3 residence, which is what we were just speaking about earlier. Should you find that your income exceeds that 51%, then you can look at your employees. That 30% of your employees would then fall within the HUD income limits. And that is, your employees would complete this particular tools that are needed to apply for the Section 3 residence, with you needing to go that route of the Category 2. And then the last option to obtain the Section 3 certification as a business would be that you have in the past extended subcontract opportunity to companies of 25% or greater. and equally that you would make a commitment in the future to extend that courtesy to subcontractors, in essence, paying it forward. Fortunately, within our process for the certification for businesses, we were able to launch that online application within the B2G Now system, and there's the link before you, and it does also provide you a extensive checklist of the information you would need to start your Section 3 business concern application. And historically, it's information you would have already submitted and you would currently have as you recently completed your certification for the office through the Office of Business Opportunities. Now, one great thing that we recognize and have identified within the Section 3, there's a threshold on the project, and that is $100,000. And it falls in the area of construction, rehabilitation, and or public construction. Now, the benefit with the threshold for Section 3 in terms of what triggers it, if for example, we're looking at a multifamily project and many of those subcontractors contracts well exceed $100,000. So on one particular project, you're looking at multiple subcontractors that would be looking for Section 3 companies so they can satisfy their goals as well. Not only the prime contractor, but equally the subcontractors would need to satisfy these thresholds that are on these federal projects where a Section 3 project is triggered, and that's whenever a project is at the amount of $200,000. So what we really like is that there's multiple opportunities that are gained from projects that have the Section 3 threshold and when it does apply. This is a glance at the Section 3 management system that is found within the B2G. And you just go online and you start that application. But again, we would encourage you to make sure you go over your checklist in order to be able to complete your process seamlessly in starting that application. You want to make sure you take time and pull all the information you need ahead of time in order to get started. Now, one more question. So what is the contract amount that triggers Section 3? And that's something we just talked about a moment ago. 100,000, 200,000, 10,000, 40,000. So it is 100,000 is the amount that triggers the section for any project. So let's take a deep dive into these opportunities, the opportunities in terms of the Section 3. So you would visit our website that's listed, and equally we have our general website for housing and then our disaster recovery website under multifamily, but it also will list projects that are underway, that are in the pipeline, and equally those that are forecasted. So we want to make sure that you stay tuned in to what the opportunities are while you're taking time to start and complete your certification. The other aspect of the certification, as talked about earlier, not only does it speak directly to the hard costs as well as soft costs, but this is a glance to let you know the different areas, and it's only just a brief list of the areas that are brought to bear in terms of the benefits for the Section 3. So we have, the administrative options here in terms of the accounting, payroll, bookkeeping, purchasing, and work processing. But it also extends to even marketing and companies that may have catering, photography. We recognize landscape is all a part of the hard costs, but equally the janitorial service, and then the regular scope of services, including the engineering, plumbing, painting, as we realize we're still in a recovery right now. excuse me, but the benefit of the Section 3, it gives you a broad brush of what those opportunities are and how each of you can participate in these benefits with the Section 3 program. Here, as I prepare to conclude, here is our division contacts, Mr. Bynum, who's our Deputy Director over compliance, and our Division Manager, Crystal Boyce, who is over our contract compliance area, where both Tisha and I work and participate in the community involvement. It does provide you with my contact information and direct email. And for us, we're here to help you to scale and help you to gain new opportunities and stay into a very fluid platform where you can participate with the various opportunities that will be made available and that are available within our department. It's important that you know our spend is roughly 100 million each year, as we talked about earlier. That's from the July 1st till June. So within our various program areas, there's many opportunities, and the Section 3 certification touch most of our program areas when those triggers are met. That $200,000 for the project itself, and then where individuals individually reach that $100,000 mark. So I am here for any questions. I too will be here at the end, and that does conclude our presentation. And I'm available for any questions if that you may have.
Are there any questions for Ken about housing, the opportunities they have, questions about Section 8, how you can utilize Section 3, and how you can utilize that for your business?
No, Section 8, no, we do not house people. We work within the field.
Right. Somebody had just sent me an email with Section 8. I was like, oh yeah, no. Section 3, Section 3, y'all. Any questions on that?
I don't know if that's a new hand for Thomas or if that was from previous.
Thomas has had that hand up for ages.
Okay, so it was just a carryover. Okay.
Any questions, y'all? This is a prime time. Housing has a lot of opportunities. A lot of
projects. We drive projects, and yes, hearing about Jay and others talk about their services that they provide. Those are services that we are seeking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hello then.
Well, hello then. We are seeking those opportunities, and we recognize you guys just went through paperwork, and you may not be interested in trying to get more paperwork, but I believe that's why you're here. You're learning from all of us what's next and how we can incubate you so that we can be your catalyst for a springboard into a new environment. Just by glancing at some of the names, I don't know that many of you, besides maybe one, are doing business with housing and community development. And as Porscha commented, we are very robust and very fluid in the work that comes out of our department.
Now, I was a little confused as far as the business part.
Yes,
I was watching, as having a business.
Okay.
I guess my confusion came into play where if the business owner is 51%, but they have to fall up under a certain criteria, or their employees have to stay in that particular area and they fall up under a certain criteria to be able to get into this program.
Okay, and this is Jay, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and thank you for the question, and which is a great question. So for the certification for businesses, it's 3 eligible options. So it's either one or the other. In the event the individual owner is able to fall within the 51% of ownership and speaks within that HUD income limits, then they qualify as category 1. But should their income exceed it, they still have another pathway to qualify. And that's category 2 by then using their employees, which historically would fall within the HUD income limits category.
Okay, yeah, that's the part that I was confused, but I understood.
Gotcha.
And it was a third one that was 25%, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct. That is correct. So that last one is 2-pronged, showing that that company says, no, both 1 and 2 don't speak to my landscape, if you will. But however, I still want to be a part of the program. So I have in the past awarded 25% to a Section 3 business. And equally, I am very firm to stand and make a commitment that 25% going forward would be awarded to a Section 3 business as well. I know oftentimes just to expound, we recognize our project size are large. So teaming and aligning and forging partnerships with other contractors and vendors and suppliers are definitely encouraged.
Okay, I got it now. Okay, cool.
Cool. Any other questions?
Hi, this is Paula. How are you?
Hi, Paula. I'm good. Thank you for joining us. And how are you?
Doing fine. I own a drug testing business in the Midtown area, and just wanted to see what type of opportunities, because typically I've been working with a lot of the construction owners, and they have been sending their subs over because they have to be tested to go to the site. What type of opportunities are there in housing for potentially drug testing?
Well, it's really based on the project itself. Mind you, it's not internally, we would not be seeking it from the department. However, I definitely would encourage you to align yourself with these opportunities. So like you said, we have many projects that are moving, and many projects have many workers. So I would say that there would be great opportunities for you to participate and let prime contractors know and owner developers know the service that you provide in drug testing, because it's paramount that our sites are drug free, and just to ensure that safety is the utmost, and that the workers and everyone around them are safe.
Right.
So it would be a very smart decision for you, to let folks know of your commodity that you provide, and equally that you are certified.
Yes, I am. And how would how would I reach out to those groups?
Right. So one thing that we do provide for those that are certified, we provide them, like, they send us opportunities of what they're looking for, and we send it straight out to our Section 3 businesses. It goes straight into their email. So there's more benefits equally in being certified and within our pipeline. Now, I do want to just echo, as it was said earlier with Dr. Jackson and Jerry, that companies don't have to be certified to do any work with the city of Houston. However, these are targeted benefits that you are able to gain through these certifications. And in this instance, this is a federal certification. Now, one thing that I will do under Dr. Jackson's direction, I'll send everyone the certification information to your inbox, so you don't have to come and find our information. So it'll make it easier for you to start that process in getting your certification as under Section 3.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? All right, Dr. Jackson, thank you so much for having us. And I definitely did not take any time from SBA.
Thank you so much for sharing your information and really partnering with us. And folks, again, I think there was some questions in the chat about, yes, you'll receive this video, and she'll also receive your information to kind of follow up and give you some additional information. I know you may not have questions now. It's a lot of information to take into process during this time. So we understand the silence, but you know, at any time you have questions, things that you think about, definitely ask those. And I think it was Paula, you have to be able, when you're doing business with the government, you have to really look beyond just what's there. If they're talking about housing, you got to think about all the things that it takes to build a house. And so if you offer pieces of that, then there's opportunity. Just like she was able to say, I may not build a house or have any supplies to build a house, but I know there's opportunity for me because the constructors, whoever they hire, have to get tested. So you really have to break it down and begin to see how your business fits within the confines of what's there. And that's how really you succeed in doing business with the city or any government agency, is doing that and also networking. So the chat feature, you should have been putting your name in your company and letting people know who you are, because you never know who may want to partner with you. You may never know what opportunities they may have available. So, and with us in this virtual environment, it is harder to network, but when you are a part of programs, when you are a part of webinars and workshops, where there are other business owners there, where there are folks who have opportunities, that is your time to take full advantage of it. Let people know who you are. Ask a question that you may have been wanting to ask, but you did not know how to ask it. This is a time. This is a time to really network with other people. So really, I encourage you to take advantage of that. And also, again, look over this information when we see it, when we send it out to you. And if you have any questions after that, please reach out to us. And so again, thank you, Karen, for always partnering with us and sharing the information. And I'm telling you, Karen she cares so much for small businesses. She's a huge advocate. So stay in contact with her and really utilize her as a resource, because there's not a lot of folks out there who have the heart and will really nurture you during this process. So and you have one, a true gem here at the city with Karen. And so thank you again, Karen, and welcome to the fold, Tisha Coleman. Is that your counterpart, your colleague?
Definitely. Yes, she's been off and running.
So
we're very happy to have her.
Yes, thank you so much. And so now we're going to bring up our final speaker, who partners with us through a lot of things too that we do here at OBO, and that's Miss Easter Wright with the Small Business Administration, SBA, to talk about the various opportunities they have and how to utilize your certifications for federal contracting. So Easter, I am going to give you the floor. We see your slide, we just don't hear you.
That's because I haven't said anything yet.
Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Easter Wright, Economic Development Special, SBA Houston District Office. Porscha, how much time do I have?
You have 30 minutes.
Okay. This is the email for the Houston District Office. We are operating virtually. We're not accepting any face-to-face visits, but this is the email for the Houston District. And also, this is our phone number. So if you call us, it does ring to us. It does come in on our computer, so we will respond back to you. Houston@sba.gov. Well, something just happened. What happened? Okay, I'm going to talk to you about SBA Hubzone Program. The Hubzone Program is one of the certification programs that SBA is responsible for. The purpose of this program is to allow federal agencies set aside contracts for Hubzone certified small businesses. It also invests in and hire from qualified Hubzone. And it also provides a benefit, opportunity, and investment in our undercapitalized community that has been identified. The Hubzone program is a contract incentive program. This program is a program that the federal government used to buy goods and services. 5% goes to SCVs, which is another type of set aside. 3% go to service disabled, veteran-owned small businesses. 5% go to women-owned small business, which is also a certification program the SBA is responsible for. And 3% go to our Hubzone businesses. This is a map to let you know that we use a map to determine if you're in a Hubzone, but you cannot look at that map to make that determination. You do have to go to the website and plug in the physical address of your office and the physical address of your employees, and you'll see those slides in a few. Now I'm going to tell you what the criteria is for the Hubzone program. First, you must be a small business. And
I'm sorry, Easter. The only slide we see is the slide with your name on it.
Oh, I'm on slide 7. Oh, okay.
It's showing slide 2.
Oh, okay.
It's showing slide 7 on mine.
Oh, it's showing slide 7 on yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Porscha, did you hear that?
Yeah, okay. I guess mine is behind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so hold on. I went into mode. I have to figure out how to get out of it. So hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, just to echo on my end, it shows slide 2.
Okay, I'm going to stop presenting and start over.
Yeah, mine froze earlier, Esther. So just in noting, yeah, I had to start over. I think it's just the system.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so let's go to slide 7. Okay, do all of you see slide 7?
Yes.
Okay. Well, like I said, you have to be a small business for the Hubzone program. And that's the case with all the certification programs that SCBA is responsible for. Not only do you have to be a small business, well, let me backtrack. You can determine if you're a small business, and there's a 6-digit code that the federal government used to make that determination. And this is the website. This is where the site standard table is housed, where the NAICS codes are to help you figure out what is your NAICS code. For purpose of processing your application, SBA use what we call the primary NAICS code. This is the code that brings you the most sales. And after you determine what your code, the primary code is, you can go to the site standard table, which is on SBA website, and check to see what is the standard for your industry. You also have to own at least 51% of your business and be a U.S. citizen. And your principal office must be located in a Hubzone. At least 35% of your employees must reside in a Hubzone. And you would go to our map to make that determination. Again, you cannot look at our Hubzone map to determine where you are. Well, to start the application process, now that you have figured out that maybe you qualify for the Hubzone program, you want to start that application process. First thing you want to do is register in SAM. SAM is that's an acronym, but it stands for System for Award Management. That's a system that the federal government has in place. That's a system that's required by law that if you want to do business with the federal government, you have to create a profile in sam.gov. Gather all of your documents before you sit down to do your application. That just makes things easier for you. You know, get all your documents together, your payroll and proof of residency, your proof of ownership, proof of principal location. Have all those documents together before you start. And then you can go to the website and start the process. Submissions are not considered an application until all required documents have been received. We call that a sound document, a sound application. The clock does not start for SBA until we have what we consider to be a sound application. Here are some of the tips for the Hubzone firms. Get up to speed. Visit SBA website for tutorials and referrals. Get help from our resource partner. These are the resource partners listed here. All of our resource partners are listed on our website. Those resource partners can assist you, provide assistance free of charge. SBA fund these resource partners to help you. And you can go to these resource partners as many times as you want to. You can go to each one if you want to. So take advantage of that. Do your homework. Learn about the opportunity and consider starting with the government purchase card order, or consider subcontracting. If you're not in a position to do prime contracting yet, if you feel your company isn't strong enough for that yet, do subcontracting. You would approach those prime contractors. Prime contractors are the ones that have those huge contracts with the federal government, and approach them and try to do business with them. And you can joint venture to gain experience also. Create a relationship with another business that has experience with doing business with the federal government. And you can also secure a mentor-protege relationship under our All Small Mentor-Protege program. And that will also give you the opportunity to get your foot in the door. You can leverage your small business status if you are SDB, disabled small, veteran-owned small business, or women-owned small business. Consider gaining your Hubzone status because you're already a Hubzone, so get certified. Okay, moving on to slide 10. Again, this is reiterating that there's help out there for you. Also, you can visit the Hubzone website to get help. And this second one here that says view location eligibility. This is where the map is located, but you don't have to, if you don't get the opportunity to take a snapshot of this slide, no problem. Go to SBA website and get that information. It is located on the Houston District website. You can also email the Hubzone help desk with specific questions. And this is the email address, hubzone@sba.gov. Or you can call the call in weekly and get information, because you want to understand the program before you try to get certified with the program. So Hubzone staff have a weekly conference call every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, this is the number. I'm going to park here in case you want to take a screenshot of this with your phone, and you are interested in attending those weekly conference calls to hear more about the Hubzone program. This is the phone number. It's a call in. This one is not on the on an app. This is, so you have to call in for this one. And here's the access code. So moving on, hopefully you got the screenshot if you are interested. This slide basically tells you that the Hubzone program is working. It's providing jobs. We have about 22,000 Hubzone across the U.S. and our territory. The federal government does use this program. SBA has made a few changes to improve your customer experience. They process your application faster now, within 60 days of a complete application. And again, that's the key word, complete application, AKA a sound application. So the clock doesn't start until they receive a complete application. Hubzone Map is frozen through 2021. The map will be updated every 5 years. The concept as far as redesignated areas are concerned remains the same. This another change that SBA tried to go in and do is to expand and stabilize the footprint of the Hubzone program. And there's a 3-year transition period for expiring Hubzone qualified census tract and qualified non-metropolitan counties. And there's no extension beyond 2021 for current redesignated area. They went in and tried to redesignate some areas to expand the program. And at this point, the map is frozen through 2021. and the map will be updated every 5 years. Small businesses that invest in hub zones by purchasing a building or entering a long-term lease of 10 years or more may maintain hub zone eligibility for up to 10 years, even if the office location no longer qualifies as a hub zone. And this does not apply to buildings in areas currently characterized as redesignated areas. So again, these are some of the changes that they are made to the footprint of the Hub Zone program to try to make the program work for you. SBA has also, the federal government has also adjusted the Hub Zone program to increase program utilization. You must annually recertify now. Once certified, a firm will be eligible for all Hub Zone contracts for which it qualifies as small for a period of 1 year from the date of your initial certification or recertification, just depending on what you're doing, unless you are acquired or merged with another company. Full documentation reviews will be required every 3 years. You must appear in Dynamic Small Business Search, aka DSBS, as a Hub Zone certified at the time of your offer. Offer means at the time that you submit a proposal for that Hub Zone set-aside contract. SBA will determine the eligibility of a concern subject to a Hub Zone protest as of the date of its initial certification or its most recent recertification. Now, Dynamic Small Business Search is the property of SBA, whereas if you remember, I mentioned SAM, the System for Award Management. The System for Award Management is the property of GSA, General Services Administration. And remember, I said now that portal is for everyone, large and small business. Whereas the Dynamic Small Business Search, aka DSBS, is the property of SBA. The SBA created this portal for you to register your business, your small business. It's just that for small businesses. And we always say this is a free marketing tool for your business because you'll put all the information about your business in this portal. So when the federal government decides they're going to buy something, a good or service, they go to Dynamic Small Business Search to see what companies are out there that can provide this good or service that they're interested in purchasing. And that's where that NAICS code comes into play, because the federal government would seek by NAICS code, and they would also transfer that NAICS code over to keywords. Sometimes the federal government isn't sure what NAICS code they want to use, so keywords also play a key part in the federal government. The federal government has to do research sometimes, just like we tell you as a small business, you have to do research to see if the federal government buy your goods or service. Well, guess what? The federal government has to do the same thing. Sometimes they don't know. That contracting office doesn't know. They have to go out there and do market research. Well, they use Dynamic Small Business Search as one of the tools to do that market research. A firm that receives a Hub Zone contract must attempt to maintain that 35% employment of Hub Zone residents, because 35% of your employees have to reside in a Hub Zone. So that's very important. You have to attempt to maintain, well, the definition to attempt to maintain as employed 20% of the Hub Zone resident has been defined, and it's on our website. You have to show that you tried to maintain at least 20% of your Hub Zone residents that's on your staff, on your payroll. An employee who reside in the Hub Zone for at least 6 months at the time of certification and continue to reside in a Hub Zone for at least 6 months may continue to be considered a Hub Zone resident so long as continuously employed by the firm, even if he or she moved to a non-Hub Zone area, or if the area of his or her resident loses Hub Zone geographical eligibility. So if you decide that you just can't figure all of this out, contact those resource partners that's listed. Now, this talks about some changes that if you are, that came into play because of the pandemic. They made a few changes, and that's what this slide is talking about. For example, suspension of annual recertification requirement in response to COVID-19. SBA is temporarily suspending the requirement for annual recertification. So as you can see, COVID has affected many things. We have to make adjustments because of that, just like everyone else. SBA may expedite the application of any firm that submit a complete package for certification and indicate that they intend to respond to a specified solicitation that relates to COVID-19. In other words, if the federal government is trying to buy an item from you that's related to COVID-19 or in support of a COVID-19, SBA will expedite your application because the federal government are having to buy some things in response to COVID-19. If you have to be one of those businesses that the government is trying to purchase those items from, and you need to be get certified, and you have submitted your application or get ready to submit your application, SBA will expedite your application. That's what this slide is telling you. This one is reminding you that SBA do have these programs, loan programs out there, because that is another thing the SBA is known for, or our loan program. So visit SBA website so that you all, not only will you see the pre-COVID loan program that SBA has and has been responsible for years, but you will also see the COVID loan program that are in place to assist you, the small business also, and that's located on SBA website. This tells you that, and also to remind you that the Hubzone program is a contracting program. That's the purpose of the Hubzone program, is to give you the opportunity to bid on Hubzone set-aside contracts. And I'm fast-pacing through these slides here because I'm running out of time. I only have 30 minutes. But in a nutshell, the Hubzone program is a contracting program, a program that's serviced by SBA. It's a vehicle that the federal government used to buy. That's another vehicle. SBA, the federal government has several vehicles that they can use to buy from the public. The Hubzone happens to be one of them. But SBA has other certification programs also that the available to you. You can visit SBA website. Now, this is the dynamic small business search portal. This is what it looks like when you arrive there. Not only can you use it, but SBA, but the contractor officer uses it also. SBA is responsible for this portal. And again, this is the what it looks like when you arrive there, and you can create a profile in the dynamic small business search. And you can, this is what the contractor officer use when they get ready to buy something. And the contractor officer are the ones that have authority to buy on behalf of the federal government. So I'm going to pass fast forward to the end so that if you have questions, we have 11 minutes for you to ask your question. And also reach out to Houston at sba.gov if you have additional questions. Visit our website. Also, you can very easily just Google SBA Houston District and we will come up, and you can visit our website. If you have questions, let me know. If you have issues, if you have problem finding the Houston District website, no problem. Send an email to Houston at sba.gov and we will email the link to you. And so that concludes my presentation. Again, I'm Easter Wright. Houston at sba.gov is the email for the Houston District office. So I have 10 minutes for questions. Thank you, Porscha.
Thank you. Questions, anyone? Questions? Yes. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, so I'm 98.9% done and we're getting ready to submit the application. But every time I go on to the SAM website to update POC only, it always kicks me out, and it takes me about another 2 weeks for them to verify everything with Cage, and because I'm only updating the I think it's the SBDBS.
That sounds like a technical issue. Did you send an email to them telling them you're having a technical issue with their website?
No, it's, I mean, ever since the summer of last, it's like anytime I update anything, and get to the last part, the last part when you go through there and get to the SBDBS,
Okay.
to give all the NICE codes, give all the information that, for them to take a look at your company.
Are your annual sales at least $10,000?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Reach out to the to PTAC, Procurement Technical Assistance Center here in Houston. Reach out to them. They can they might be able to help you figure it out. If they cannot help you figure out, they'll tell you that you have to contact the SAM help desk, because there might be something behind the scenes that they need to do.
Okay, I do have a PTAC a mentor.
Okay, PTAC can help you with SAM.
Okay, I'll reach out to him then.
Okay, thank you for your question.
We had a question in the chat, Easter, and that was, will the Hubzone eligibility map change once the Census 2020 data has been processed?
We won't know that until HUD and SBA and the governor all get together, and then they will give us guidance on that later.
Okay. Are there any, what is Ntv Code?
I think you're referring to the NAICS codes, which is NAICS code. We call it NAICS code. That's a 6-digit code that the federal government uses to determine what it is that you sell. We have a whole list with all the NAICS code listed. And when the federal government decides to buy something, they go to that table and look at that reference of all those NAICS code. So because the government has to determine what NAICS code are they going to assign to a project. And that's the code that they use to buy whatever it is that when I say they, I'm talking that federal agency, whatever that federal agency is getting ready to buy, they have to assign a NAICS code to that. So that's what a NAICS code is.
She says thanks.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? So final minutes, folks. Any other questions you want to ask that popped in your mind? All right, it doesn't look like it. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Wait, something just came up. What does NAIC stand for?
North American Industry Classification Code.
Great. Okay, so again, folks, thank you for tuning into this workshop. Again, I know it's a lot of information. We will definitely send you the recording. Reach out to Easter, reach out to Karen, and also to Jerry if you have any further questions that you may think of. Thomas, I will get with you and get you your answer. If any other questions you all think of, again, reach out to us, as well as make sure you check out our various websites for the different opportunities that we have available to grow and develop your business and to take advantage and really take your certification and beyond. And with that, we will conclude it. Also, I didn't have time during my presentation. I ran out of time to show you how to navigate to do some research and use the purchasing.houston.tx.gov to search for bids, and then how to look at current contracts and to kind of use that to see who's getting the contracts and who's doing the subcontracting on that. So if you have questions or want me to walk you through that, go ahead and send me an email, and we can set up a time and I can walk you through that individually if you are interested in how to search for bids and how to kind of get some more information about contracts that are currently going on with the City of Houston.